Inside, a harness, a bracket, the mpower 6x1 off-road light, and a manual for installation. Now, as we open up the bag here with the connector and the cable, you're going to see that the connector is actually designed to plug directly into the back of the light. Moving along, we've got the brackets. Now, the first part of the bracket is the base piece, which attaches to the vehicle. And then you've got the swivel piece, which attaches to the light and allows you to aim the light. And on top of that, we include all the different hardware that you're going to need for the installation. Now here we have the light itself. And on the back of the light, you can see there's a connector that's ready for the actual cable to plug directly in to the back of it. So now we're at the point where we install the light onto the side-by-side. Well, the first thing we have to do is find a suitable location. And in this case, we're going to install it in front of the radiator, just under the top piece of fascia. Now, because of its location, we are using a custom bracket, but many times you won't need to do that. Now, in this case, because we're using a custom bracket, we do want to attach the mpower off-road light lower bracket to that as a mounting base. Once that's done, put it aside and we'll start mounting the light itself to the swivel bracket, which is really easy. It's just a matter of sliding it down onto the slots, installing the lock screws, and tightening them down. Next, we're going to take the light and the swivel bracket and we're going to attach it to the mounting base. There are 2 screws that hold that together, and it's recommended that you leave those screws somewhat loose until you are ready to do your final aiming of the light. Now, depending on where you're mounting the light, you may want to connect it ahead of time or after you're done with the installation. One thing to keep in mind is there is a weather seal right on the connector, and we do recommend pushing that seal out about as far as it'll go on the connector before pushing it into the socket. That will help with a better seal and prevent the gasket from bunching up upon insertion. Now we're almost done. Let's get the light and the whole bracket assembly and get it mounted right into the side-by-side. Remember to leave everything a little bit loose until you're at the very end, and then you can aim it and make sure everything's going the right direction, and then do the final tightening of all components. The final step for this installation is to connect the ground wire to a good ground source and the power wire to a switched power source that's capable of handling 7.5 amps. Also, be sure to fuse that for protection of the wire, the light, and the side-by-side. So now we're down to those final steps of putting the fascia back together. And here you can see the light installed, peeking through the fascia. It looks really good, really sleek, but most importantly, it was really easy to do.